Okay. Starting my class, right?
Okay.
Okay, Jay.
Om Vakratunta Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvighnan Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Parate Kamaparupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurave Sarvalokanam Vishashe Bhavarohinam Niddhaye Sarvavidyanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murtibheda Vibhagine Vyomavatyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sadashivasamharambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Okay, you can unmute your mic and repeat after me. Vasudevendra Yogindram
Vasudevendra Yogindram
Natva Jnanapradam Gurum
Natva Jnanapradam Gurum
Mumukshunam Hitarthaya
Mumukshunam Hitarthaya
Tattvabodho Bhidiyate
Tattvabodha Vidiyate
Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannadikarinam
Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannadikarinam
Moksha Sadhana Bhutam
Moksha Sadhana Bodham
Tattva Viveka Prakaram
Tattva Viveka Prakaram
Vakshyamaha
Vakshyamaha
Sadhana Chatushtayam Kim
Sadhana Chatushtayam Kim
Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha
Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha
Iha Mutrartha Phalabhoga Viragaha
Phalabhoga Viragaha
Shamadi Shatka Sampattihi
Samadhi Sampattihi
Mumukshutvam Cheti
Cheti
Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha Kaha
Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha
Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma
Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma
Tad Vyatiriktam Sarvam Anityam
Nityam sarvam
Anityam
Ayam Eva Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha
Ayam eva Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha
Viragaha Kaha Irasvarga Bhogeshu Ichcharahityam Ihasvarga Bhogeshu
इदस्वर्गभोगेषु
इच्छाराहित्यम्
इच्छाराहित्यम्
शमादिषट्कः सम्पत्तिः का
समाधिषट्कसम्पत्तिः का
शमः दमः उपरमः
शमः दमः उपरमः
तितिक्षा श्रद्धा समाधानं च इति
श्रद्धा समाधानं
शमः कः मनोनिग्रहः दमः कः
शमः कः
चक्षुरादि इन्द्रियनिग्रहः उपरमः कः स्वधर्मानुष्ठानम् एव तितिक्षा का शीतोष्णसुखदुःखादिसहिष्णुत्वम् श्रद्धा कीदृशी गुरुवेदान्तवाक्येषु विश्वासः श्रद्धा
वेदान्तवाक्येषु विश्वासः श्रद्धा
समाधानं किम् चित्तैकाग्रता चित्त एकाग्रता, that is चित्तैकाग्रता मुमुक्षुत्वं किम् मोक्षो मे भूयात् इति इच्छा Okay, up to this is all. So we have seen the up to this moksha sadhanani. So from next class onwards we will not chant the whole thing. So we will chant from the sentence which we are going to see today. Okay. So up to mumukshutvam, that is still the previous classes. So we have discussed in detail the sadhanani, the qualifications which are required on the part of an adhikari. We discussed in detail. We defined the qualifications and it was elaborated, and also the means for acquiring those qualifications were discussed. So these qualifications should not be taken for granted or should not be neglected. This is very important for a person to become an adhikari. Who is an adhikari? Sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha adhikari. The one who is endowed with this sadhana chatushtayam, this fourfold qualifications, it is an adhikari. What are the sadhanani? Let us recount all the sadhanani once again. Vivekaha, viragaha, shamadishatka sampattihi, under which shamaha, damaha, uparamaha, titiksha, sudha, samadhanam, and the last qualification is mumukshutvam. We need to go back to this sadhanani again and again in our spiritual pursuit, and we should try to develop these qualifications or the qualifications what we learn. Now, since jnanam is the moksha sadhanam, the adhikari should do tattva viveka, which is the content. which is the subject matter, the Vishaya of this text Tattvabodha. Tattva Viveka is the Vishaya of this text Tattvabodha. So now we will get into the main, the content of the text, Vishaya. We are going to get into the Vishaya. So we will continue with the next sentence in the text. I will repeat, I will say, you can repeat after me. Etat sadhana chatushtayam. You can.
Tat sadhana chatushtayam.
Tatah tattva vivekasya adhikarinah bhavanti.
Atah tattva vivekasya adhikarinah bhavanti.
Okay. Now you can mute your mic. Etat sadhana chatushtayam. These are the fourfold qualifications. What are these? What we saw just now and in the previous classes. These are the fourfold qualifications. Among all those qualifications, sadhanani, disciplines, mumukshutvam is the most important qualification. Why? Because a person may have shamadhamadi qualifications and he may not be a mumukshu. Therefore, mumukshutvam is important. The same way, if a person may not have shamadhamadi, if he has mumukshutvam, then the person should take care of the other qualifications. Therefore, a person having the chatushtaya sadhanani, when that person he listens to the words of the scriptures from the mouth of the acharya, the guru, that person will gain jnanam. Therefore, the person is an adhikari, is a qualified person. Saha tattva vivekasya adhikari bhavati. So once he becomes an adhikari, thereafter he listens to the shastram from the mouth of the acharya. Then only he will get jnana. Acharya vachana shravana matrena jnanam apnoti. Taha adhikari. Once he gains jnanam, what happens? Brahmavit bhavati. Brahmaiva bhavati. He gains moksha, which is the ultimate purushartha. So an adhikari, when he is exposed to the shastram, he gets jnanam, and jnanam is the moksha sadhanam. That is the moksha is the ultimate purushartha. So the person becomes brahmavit, brahmaiva bhavati. Okay. Now, pramanam, that is a means of knowledge. Shastram is there. Prameyam, the object of knowledge, that is also is there. When both pramanam is there, prameyam is there, then the knowledge should take place when a person is exposed to the pramanam. If jnanam doesn't happen, then understand that there are some qualifications which we are lacking. It is not the defect of the pramana. There are some qualifications which we are lacking. That is why jnanam doesn't happen, in spite of shravana. If jnanam takes place, and if the person has some inhibition, he may not enjoy jnana phalam. The person may have jnana, but he may not enjoy the benefits of jnana. And therefore, what happens is that the person may doubt the pramanam itself. Pramana shanka happens in that person. Pramanam is infallible. Pramanam must produce knowledge. There is no choice. If knowledge doesn't take place, then the person must look into the factors inhibiting knowledge and should try to resolve it. That is where all the other sadhanams come for help. like karma yoga or puja, japa, all the rituals, whatever the Vedic lifestyle, all these sadhanams comes for help. We will see that those in detail in the right context. Now, we will continue with the text. What is Tattvabodha? That is its content, some vishaya, the subject matter of the text. What is Tattvabodha? The author says, you can repeat after me. Tattvabodha kaha.
तत्त्वविवेकः कः
कः
Atma satyah.
आत्मा
सत्यः
तदन्यत् सर्वं मिथ्या इति.
तदन्यते सर्वं
धन्यते सर्वं
मिथ्या इति.
मिथ्या
इति
Okay. Now we are going to see this two sentences. One is a question, other is the answer. That we are going to see in detail today. You can mute your mic. Atma satyah tadanyat sarvam vidya iti. Tattva vivekah kaha. What is tattva viveka? Atma satyah. Atma, that is I. I is the truth. Tadanyat sarvam mithya iti. Everything other than that is mithya. Now, what do you mean by tattva viveka? Tattva viveka, author says, Atma satyah tadanyat sarvam mithya iti. That is tattva viveka. First, we do the viveka. Viveka is discriminative analysis. After the analysis, we understand the tattvam. The understanding of tattvam, that truth, it takes place in us because of the discriminative analysis. Tattva viveka, tattva vichara, tattva viveka vicharaha. So we will do tattva viveka vichara. Do we get jnanam by vichara? Vichara means, I hope you know, inquiry. Do we get jnanam by vichara? No. Vicharena na moksha. By inquiry we don't get moksha. Vedanta vakyat eva moksha. Only the words of the Shastram can produce jnanam and jnanam produce moksha. Because Vedaha is the pramanam. Vedaha tu swatah pramanam. Veda is a pramanam by itself. It should produce jnanam. Then why should we do vichara then? Vichara is done only to remove the defects of our thinking, human thinking. Purusha buddhigata dosha apanaya eva vicharaha kartavyaha. Vichara is to be done to remove the defects which are in the human mind, human thinking. Purusha buddhigata dosha apanaya. Apanaya is removal. Our mind is clouded with the defects of thinking, defects of doubting, the pramanam and prameya. Asmakam buddhihi, our mind, pramana prameya shanka rupa doshena achanna. Achanna is clouded. Our mind is clouded with the doubts of pramanam and prameyam. Those are the defects. By those defects, our buddhi is clouded. Therefore, vichara is to be done. Tasmata, vicharaha kartavyaha. This must be understood very clearly. Samyak avagantavyam. Etat. Here, the author says, Atma satyaha tadanyat sarvam mithya. This is the tattvam, this is the truth. This text is, as I told before, it is only a textbook of definitions. So, no vichara will be done in detail. Those things are all, it comes in the other text as well as in the Upanishads. But this sentence, Atma Satyaha Tadanyata Sarvam Mithya iti, that we must understand. So that we will do some vichara, inquiry into every word in this sentence. This Atma Satyaha Tadanyata sarvam mithya iti. Tadanyata sarvam mithya. This sentence, it has two parts. Atma Satyaha, it is one part. It is the first part. The other part is Tadanyat Sarvam Mithya. This is the second part. There are two parts. Atma Satyaha Tadanyat Sarvam Mithya. So we don't know the meaning of any of the words here. Each word in the definition is not known to us. The author himself is going to explain by asking the another question, Atma Kaha, which is the next question. The author will explain later. So now we will see the simple meaning of the sentence and try to investigate into the words and its meanings. Atma means what? Atma is the self. That is our true self. Atma is the self. The word Atma, it means the subject. What I mean is subject is the person who looks at the world, who transacts, who does transaction with the world, who encounters the world, who responds to the world. That person is called Atma. There are different ways by which the word Atma can be etymologically derived. I will take one simple derivation. Atti Sarvan iti Atma. Atti Sarvan iti Atma. One derivation for the word Atma. It means the one who experiences or enjoys all the objects in the form of Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. The form of sound, form, taste, smell and touch. Either by Pratyaksha Pramanam or Anumana Pramanam or by any other means of knowledge. That person is the Atma. I, the first person singular. Aham. Uttama Purusha. Aham, first person singular. I. That person is the Atma. And this Atma is Satyam. Everything else other than Atma is Nitya. Anyata Sarvam means everything other than Atma. Everything other than Atma means Na Atma, Anatma. Na Atma, Anatma. Anyata Sarvam is Anatma. That which is not Atma. Anatma is Nitya. Atma is Satyaha. Anatma is Nitya. Knowing this is the Tattvabodha. This is the meaning of the sentence. Now we will explore in detail. We know objects. A book is an object, a pot is an object, a pen with which we write is an object, the headphone is an object, a rock is an object, a stone is an object, a nice sweet dish, that is also an object. Any electronic gadget you take, mobile phone, laptop, pen drive, all are objects. Even the place you want to visit, that is also an object because it is something you can visit and experience it. Similarly, situations also. Situations what you face in life, that is also an object that you can experience. You can buy any object by paying the price it demands. It is available for demand. So you can order it. If they are affordable to you, then you can order it, you can buy it. Those are objects. But where will you get the Satya Atma? In which supermarket you will get the Satya Atma? Can you get me Satyam from somewhere? Can you get me Mithya? Can you order it online on Amazon.com? No. Satyam or Mithya, it is not available like that. We know objects in general which are available for perception, which are available for the perception of our sense organs. But Satyam is not an object. So too Mithya is not an object. That is why Bhagavan Krishna says in the Gita, 2nd chapter, Nainam chindanti shastrani, Nainam dagati pavakaha, Nachainam kledayantyapaha, Nashoshayati marutaha. 2nd chapter, 23rd shloka. Shastram, weapons, do not cut Satya Atma. Fire cannot burn Satyatma. Water cannot drench Satyatma. Wind cannot dry Satyatma. Achedyoyam adakyoyam akledyo shoshyayevacha. The next shloka Krishna says, Satyatma cannot be cut, it cannot be burnt, it cannot be drenched, it cannot be dried. If Atma cannot be burnt or drenched or cut or dried, then Atma cannot be an object. Even this fire, that is Agnihi, water, Apaha, air, Vayuhu, Prithvi, they are all objects. Which these objects can have an impact or it can affect the other objects. All the 5 elements, they are available for our sense perception, and therefore they are objects. Even the Vayu is an object because it can be polluted. It is an object. So therefore, by telling that Atma cannot be burnt or drenched or cut or dried, what Bhagavan Krishna says is Atma is not an object. If Atma is also one of the objects, then it should be available for the other Pramana, Pratyaksha Pramana. Then we don't need Shastra Pramana. If Atma is available as one of the objects, then Atma doesn't come under the purview of Shastram. Right? So, if Atma is not an object, then how can you define Atma? How can you define Satyam? Mundakopanishad, it tries to define Atma. Since you are all studying Mundakopanishad, this shloka, this mantra, probably you may know. Yattadadreshim agragim agotram avarnam achakshushrotvam tadapani padam nityam dibum sarvakatam susukshmam tadavyayam yadbhutayonim paripashyanti dhiraha. Pratama Mundaka, first section, 6th mantra. So here the Mundaka Upanishad, it tries to define the indefinable Satyatma by negation. Adreshyam. Adreshyam means what? That which is not available for vision. It cannot be seen. Satyatma is not available for recognition as an object for any sense organs. Not only for eyes, it is not available for any sense organs. Agragyam. Agragyam is what? That which is not tangible. Agotram. It has no origin. It is unborn. Avarnam. No color. No attributes. No qualities. Another meaning can be given for Varna. Varna means, letters. A word is nothing but a group of letters. So, Avarna means that is not objectifiable even by words. Even words of Shastram cannot objectify Satya Atma. If can objectify, then Atma also become an object. Atma is not an object. Therefore, even the words of Shastram cannot objectify it. Please understand this, it's important. Achakshishrotam tadapani padam. It doesn't have eyes or ears or legs or hands. So this is a definition of Atma by negation. So therefore, Atma is not an object. I'll give another reason to prove that Atma is not an object. An object in general, how do you define? It is defined only by its attributes or qualities. Really speaking, the definition of any object is nothing but its attributes and qualities. For example, how do you define water? Water has fluidity, it has viscosity, it has wetness, it boils at 100 degrees centigrade, it freezes at 0 degrees centigrade. All these are the properties of water. And the chemical, suppose if you are a chemistry student, chemical formula of water is H2O. It has 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. In chemistry, every element is identified by its physical and chemical properties. Whether it is a metal or a non-metal or a metalloid, all these are decided based on its properties, behavioral properties. Therefore, what we define is nothing but the properties of the objects. Because an object is nothing but its properties. Why? Because of the perception. We have 5 sense organs, and these sense organs are meant for experiencing only the attributes of the objects of the world. If the object is hot or cold, it can be perceived by touch. If the object has certain smell, it can be perceived by nose. and accordingly you can define the object. For example, hydrogen sulfide. It has the smell of the rotten egg. So that by smelling we can identify the gas. Therefore, with the available pramanam, what we have, what we can perceive is only the attributes of the object. No object as such can be experienced. Fire has certain properties, water has certain properties. If we experience hot water, then we infer that water is boiled because we know hotness is not the property of water. It is a transferred property from the fire. It is an extrinsic property. The moment fire is removed, water comes back to the room temperature. Therefore, it is clear that an object is defined based on the attributes or the properties or the behavioral properties. Atma is not an object. Therefore, it has no attributes. There is no way of perceptual definition of Atma. Adreshyam, Agrahyam, Agotram, Avarnam. All these negations are only to show that Atma is not an object. Therefore, now it is proved that Atma is not an object. Then what is Atma? Atma is Satyam. Tadanyat Sarvam Mithya. What is this Tadanyat other than Atma? That is, that which is not Atma. We can call it Anatma. So, Atma Satyaha Tadanyata Sarvam Mithya. It is Atma Satyaha Anatma Mithya. Right? So now we should investigate what is this Satyam, what is it Mithya. We have now established Atma is not an object. Now if we investigate these two words Satyam and Mithya, then we will get a clear idea of what is Atma. So this Satyam and Mithya, what are these two words? What does it mean? That we will see now. They are the words which do not reveal any objects, Satyam and Mithya. It is understanding of the objects. These words are meant to understand the objects. We have these two important words in terms of realities. That is real and unreal. Real is one word, unreal is another word. Satyam, it means real. Satyam means real. Real means what? Real means that which exists, an existent thing. That is Satya. Mithya means what? Mithya means unreal. Unreal doesn't mean non-existent thing. Important thing to be noted. Unreal doesn't mean non-existent thing. Now, let us take a few words. Monkey. Monkey is a word. Dog, sun, moon, stars, mountains, ocean, forest. All these are words. These words point out to certain objects. Now, do they exist or not? Yes, they exist. They are all Satyam. Right? What about man? Does he exist? Yes. What about horn? Anna kombu. Matakirkamari kombu. What about horn? Does it exist? Yes. What about man's horn? Man having the horn. Does it exist? No, it doesn't exist. It is asatyam. It is asatyam or tucham. Tucham is another word. It is asatyam or tucham. It means totally non-existent. It means totally non-existent. A man with horns is non-existent. That is asatyam or tucham. For existent thing, we use the word satyam. Man exists. It is an existential fact. So we call it satyam. For things which are not existent, non-existent things, we use the word asatyam or tucham. This is how we understand the objects, the things of the world. Vedanta says these two words are not enough. Satyam and Tucham or Asatyam. Satyam and Asatyam. Asatyam or Tucham. Vedanta says these two words are not enough. Therefore, it introduces one more word. What is that word? Mithya. Mithya is that word. Now, can you all see me now? Am I visible now? Can you see the video? Yes? You can respond. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Now,
Yes, I received.
okay, you can, fine. Now, look at me. What is this? This is a shawl, right? You can see the shawl, yellow color shawl. This is a shawl. Yeah. Okay. Now, suppose I say this is thread. This is thread. Am I right or not? I am right. True. Because
Yeah,
a shawl is nothing but it is all made of thread only. Right? Suppose I remove all the threads from the shawl. Now what happens? Now shawl is gone. Now what you have is only threads. Right? So when the shawl is there, threads are there. When the shawl is there, threads are there. When the shawl is not there, threads are there. Therefore, what is that shawl? Shawl is not Satyam. Shawl is not Satyam. Thread was there before, now thread is there, and after also thread will be there. Right? Before the making of the shawl, thread was there. After the making of the shawl, thread is there. Once I dismantle, I remove all the threads from the shawl, thread is there. So, we should give the word Satyam to the thread, not to the shawl. Can we say shawl is Asatyam or Tucham? No, you cannot say. It is not non-existent like non-existent thing like a rabbit's horn. No. Am I wearing a non-existent shawl? No. Therefore, shawl is neither Satyam nor it is a non-existent thing. So therefore, we need a word to refer to such objects. That word is Nitya. Nitya is a word which revealing certain understanding about the reality of an object. There is no object called Mithya. Shawl is neither Satyam nor Asatyam. It is somewhere in between. So, Nitya is a word that we use to understand an object whose reality is not independent of something else. Whose existence is not independent of something else. You can understand the dependent nature of such objects. Suppose I ask you to bring the book. You can mute your mic, please. No? Suppose I ask you to bring the book and the wooden desk, right? The desk on which you keep the book and read and write. Suppose if I ask you to bring the book and the desk, wooden desk, you can oblige. If I say you bring the desk and the wood, then what will you do now? Wood is an object. Desk is also an object. Since these two words have been used, I ask you to bring the desk and the wood. Therefore, you must bring two objects because two words have been used by me. You must bring two objects. Even though there are two words, there are no two objects. The substance is only wood. And desk is not a substance. It is only a name given to a particular form of wood. Right? The same wood in another form, it would be called a stand or a chair or a cot. Stand is not a substance. Chair also is not a substance. Cot is also not a substance. Whether it is desk, stand, chair, cot, anything, it all depends on wood. Desk, stand, chair, cot, they're all what? They're all mithya because they don't have independent existence. They don't exist independent of wood. They depend on wood for its existence. Therefore, wood is Satyam. Wood is Satyam is with reference to wooden products. Okay. With reference to the wooden products, wood is Satyam. In fact, it is a wood which pervades the Mithya objects, which pervades the desk, which pervades the cot, which pervades the chair. Right? Mithya doesn't mean useless. Please understand, Mithya doesn't mean useless. They are useful. We can put it differently. The Satyam pervades the Mithya objects. Wood is wood in whichever form it is, but Mithya changes from one form to another. Like the desk can be made to a plank and you can further cut it to pieces, but the Satyam wood is changelessly present all through. The Satyam wood doesn't change. When you change a desk to a plank or you cut that into pieces, wood is there. Wood is changelessly present in all the forms that the Mithya objects undergoes. Right? This shawl is Mithya. This shawl is Mithya. What is Satyam? Thread is a Satyam. The shawl is made of thread. Therefore, thread is a Satyam. Even the thread is not Satyam. Because the threads are made from what? They are made from yarn. Therefore, yarn is Satyam. Even yarn is not Satyam because they are made from fiber. So we can go on and on. For our understanding, if we consider fiber as the end, then fiber is the Satyam. Thread is Mithya. Yarn is Mithya. Shawl is Mithya. Satyam fiber pervades the thread. Satyam fiber pervades the yarn. Satyam fiber pervades the shawl. Shawl is there because of thread. Thread is there because of yarn. Yarn is there because of fiber. And fiber is there in the thread, in the shawl, in the yarn. Yarn and thread or shawl, they are nothing but a different form of the same fiber. It is a fiber which pervades the thread, yarn and the shawl. These three have existence because of fiber. Fiber being Satyam, it is independent. Right? The same way, I'll give another example. We can take our favorite example, gold and chain. Gold and chain. Or gold chain. Suppose let us take gold chain. Is a gold chain. Are they two different things? Chain and gold? Chain and gold are just two different words, but not two different objects. A chain is dependent on gold, right? So chain is what? Mithya. With reference to golden ornaments, gold is Satyam. Chain is Mithya, bangle is Mithya, anklet is Mithya. They are nothing but gold. Gold is Satyam. Gold is there. Gold pervades the chain. Gold pervades the bangles. Gold pervades the anklet. So anything which is made of gold is Mithya and the gold is Satyam. Now, Tattvabodha. Let us come back to Tattvabodha. Tattvabodha is the understanding that Atma alone is Satyam. Atma Satyaha. Anyat Sarvam. Everything else depends on Atma and therefore they are Mithya. Atma means, now we know Atma means self, I. I am the Satyam. I am Satyam. What is other than me? They are Anatma. Every Anatma. Everything means everything. Everything is what? Mithya. They are dependent on Atma for its existence. That is the Jnanam, that is the wisdom. Our Upanishad unfolds. But what is the present condition? Present condition is I have this feeling, I have the notion that I have dependent existence. I depend on so many factors in the world. I depend on money, I depend on power, I depend on relationship, I depend on fame, status, and so many things in the world. So therefore, what is my notion about myself? I feel aham bandhaha. Now Vedanta comes and just turns the table and says, aham satyaha. I am Satyam. The world, the Jagat is dependent on me. And this Viveka, this Tattvabodha is moksha. That is a freedom because I discover my independence in the vichar. So this is moksha, this is the freedom. Tattvam means, tattvam is tasya bhavaha. Whatever that you see, what is its bhava? Bhava is existence. When you inquire, begin to inquire, you finally end up in the tattvam, the truth. Even if you continue with the shawl example, you can land on Atma. Shawl is mithya, yarn is mithya, cotton is mithya. If you go on like that, finally we'll end up with molecules, then further atoms, then further you go particles, and finally you will end up with consciousness, which is Atma, which is Satyam. Right? So, that is why Shastram tells, you are Satyam. The whole word depends on you. Satyavastu is, you are the Satyavastu. The whole entire Jagat is in fact it has come out of you. Atma is Satyam. Anatma is Nitya. Nitya means, as I told before, it doesn't mean it is not non-existent. Nitya is nothing but only the name and the form. Nama, Rupa, Jagat, Nitya. And what is Satyam? You are that Satyavastu. That is the central teaching of the Upanishad. That is the Jnana. That is what going to be unfolded now in a systematic way. We have to discuss further in detail. We won't be able to do it today because it's already 9 o'clock here. So we'll stop here. We'll continue to pick up where we left in the next class. We'll discuss more on this by trying to give you more examples and to have a firm understanding of what is Nitya. Nitya should be understood. If Nitya is understood, then you know Satyam. Satyam also to be understood. Nitya, Satyam, both should be understood very clearly. That is Vedanta.
It is Nitya or Nitya? What is that?
Mithya.
Nitya. Yeah. That's what.
Mithya. Yeah. Okay. We'll stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. You can ask me now if you have any doubts now. Hello. Saradama.
No, Jay.
Shanti.
No doubt. Just I wanted to get that Nitya and so.
Okay. Puriyudilya?